Hi, I'm Cass Garner, and you're listening to the Solo Nerd Podcast. Today, I'll be speaking with Saurabh Bhatia, the founder and CEO of Comix, here to promote its services to comic readers and creators. Welcome, Saurabh.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, thank you for reaching out to us to promote comics. But outside of my introduction, who is Saurabh Bhatia in his own words?
Awesome. So, my name is Saurabh. I'm based in Sydney. I'm a comic fan and also a comic creator myself. Apart from that, I have been creating websites and software for almost 18 years. So this is one of the places where my passions actually marry. I have been a lifelong comic book fan for almost well, as long as I remember. You know and like, because software is something I do in my day-to-day life. When I did Kickstarter in 2017 with a bunch of other people, I did see a lot of problems that exist in platforms, both crowdfunding and digital platforms have, and wanted to fix those for the creators and readers alike.
Great. So, what is comics and what services does the company provide?
Comix.One is a platform for indie comics. Basically, we in a nutshell, it's an end-to-end ecosystem that we are building. We want to At the moment, it's just digital comics to start with, and we can buy and sell digital comics on it. However, I want to extend it to crowdfunding, social, and I have a lot of other features in mind, and things planned for the future. In a nutshell, it's going to be an end-to-end ecosystem for indie comics and indie comics alone. Um, it's a policy that I have, that I don't want big publishers on it, because this one is for the small uh, indie creators.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I guess from your experience when you did a Kickstarter some odd years ago, back in 2017, I believe you just said, but what makes comics different from other I guess different from Kickstarter that provide the same services, and like, are you looking to be competition or more so just another option for other comic creators and readers to utilize?
Absolutely. In a way, we'll end up being a competition, right? However, I do want creators and readers to have more choice. That's definitely one big part of it. Yeah. So the biggest problem I actually saw when I ran my Kickstarter in 2017 was that once the comic book finished their crowdfunding run, there was no avenue to actually keep selling it. And that's a big problem that a lot of creators face even today, because they get big volumes of readership when they run the crowdfunding campaign. However, between the two campaigns, there's not much of that. Not many people are buying their books. So there's a lot of pressure on campaigns to actually perform really well, and like, numbers are getting bigger and bigger. At the same time, the campaigns are becoming harder and harder to, like, promote and get funded, because obviously you've seen how Twitter is going, and social media is now very fragmented. And also with the economic slowdown, we want, we want so basically my aim is to get creators to keep earning from their existing catalog. And that's why I launched the marketplace first. And then I understand the reason for crowdfunding, why they go for crowdfunding to build their new comics, because obviously they want to de-risk by getting some money in advance and to pay the artists and things like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Sorry, but can you describe, I guess, the onboarding process for creators who may be looking for another avenue to promote their work through comics?
absolutely. So it's pretty simple at the moment. If you go to the website, there's a big button on the top right called For Creators. You can go there, fill out the form, and I'll be in touch. It's as simple as that. Usually, I just share a Google Doc to collect all the information and then create all the profiles for everyone. A storefront, you get a profile, just like it's kind of like LinkedIn for comics, and then you also get there's where you can display all your portfolio and stuff like that. And you get a storefront. You also get your comic books also get a page and a buy button where readers can directly buy it from. Also, on your portfolio, you can cross promote between different collaborations. So if you have collaborated with two different writers, you can actually add both those comics on comics at home.
Okay, so I guess is this the same way of how the marketplace would work, or is that something different? Can you describe more of the marketplace?
Absolutely. So at the moment, it is a marketplace, and a marketplace for digital comics. We have storefronts for each creator and their comic label. So for example, we have I don't know if you know Charlie McKenzie. He's a fantastic indie creator who writes Spider Squirrel. So he has his store for his comic label called Zion Studios, and he has his own profile, his creators, other creators he collaborates with on the platform as well. And each of his comic book gets its own page as well. So it's like a marketplace. You can buy directly from the creators' storefronts. In the near future, I'm planning to add some social aspect to it, so you can follow your favorite creators and get updates and all the latest comics from them directly in kind of like a Twitter-like feed.
Cool. So I guess speaking of future features that you want to add onto the website, I remember reading in your or in comics press release that any comics creators can access podcasters, media professionals, and reviewers. So I guess that's gonna be a future feature. But I guess what's the process for that side of things? Like, what do you have planned to try to implement that on the website?
Absolutely. So once I think when we start working on the crowdfunding bit, that's when we tie it all together. We want this place to be an all-in-one place. So when a creator comes on board and they have a comic, they can actually select all the influencers and podcasters they wanted to have chats with. They can contact them directly through the platform, build a media kit if they wanted to, and send it out to everyone, manage their mailing list, do all these kind of things. So it's a place where they can come in and run their entire indie comics business, basically, and also because Kickstarter, if you think about it, like a crowdfunding campaign requires so much effort, right? It requires promotion, it requires financial side of things as well. You need to do proper budgeting, you need to do proper planning. You also need to do like printing and fulfillment, and also PR and promotion. If we can de-risk some of these things by giving like a list of podcasters you can reach out directly through the platform and contact them through that will be a huge help for the comic creators right there. So yeah, a lot of that is coming. Obviously they're really in early stages, but yeah, we definitely have plans for that. And as I said, it's going to be an ecosystem. An ecosystem has creators and readers and podcasters and content creators. So everyone's there. I want to uplift everyone, I think.
Yeah, that's great. So how do you separate yourself as a fan of comics to now being like a boss in comics as the business owner, as the software developer, as the person that brings people on the business side of things, and try to separate the fan from all of that?
I think in short, I don't. It's the fan in me that's driving all this. Because one of the biggest positive side effects to this is I get to read a lot of good and free comics from all the creators who are really generous and kind to for that. But also, like as a fan, I do want the experience of buying and reading comics to be better. I want the experience of discovering new indie comics to be better, and that's what is the biggest driving force for me. So yeah, I don't want to separate out the fan and the business person, you know.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. But outside of working on comics, how well do you find balance for your life? And how do you typically manage your mental well-being when you become stressed, frustrated, and overwhelmed? Like right now, listeners probably can hear a little bit of it, but people who are going to watch the video, have seen your children in the video. So like, and you're working at the same time, so how do you balance all of that?
Sometimes it's hard. Yes, I agree. I do get to relax a lot. Obviously, with my lovely family and the kids, they're definitely both stress busters and stress givers at the same time. Uh, but yeah, I try to. So my work is actually pretty good. I work a fixed hour a day, and that's I have been very lucky and privileged to be able to do that. And they are very supportive of my entrepreneurial pursuits as well. So I've been very lucky that way, that my workplace is very supportive of it. That's actually contributed to being not being too stressful about it, and I've been completely focused on doing this. I do watch a lot of TV. I do read a lot of books. I read a lot of comics as well. So yeah, uh, more recently I've been watching Only Murders in the Building, and that's been like one of the most beautiful series I've seen in a long time. Um, I try to avoid something like I do love the bear, but sometimes something like the bear can add to your stress. As much as it's entertaining, but I loved it. I'm not saying I don't love it, but
Yeah, those are two really good shows. Um, but I mean, is there anything else you wanted to touch on about comics that we may have missed as a whole? I mean, I know we've talked about some of the uh like social features that we want to add in that I guess you're going to add in later. But I mean, are there any other new updates that are coming soon to the site or any new creators that are now on board on the website?
Absolutely. So the biggest update that's coming actually is we're doing a pilot with a bunch of creators in the US for their global distribution. One of the biggest problems a lot of creators have faced more recently is that shipping fee and printing fee has gone up significantly. And for solving that issue, what we have come up with is a pilot program where creators in other countries can actually distribute to other markets. So, for example, if we have a creator in the US who is interested in distributing their books to Australia, UK, and Canada, instead of paying a shipping fee from US to Australia and or Canada, they can use one of our local printing and fulfillment partners and get it shipped locally in the same country itself. That way fans can get to enjoy with print and physical books, the people who are who love those comics as collector items. They can still enjoy that in print and not pay exorbitant shipping fee. That's a huge I feel that's a huge step forward for a lot of creators. Um and the other thing is, obviously, our iPad app is actually pretty close to being finished. So for the people who love their work, or comics on digital, they will be able to access all their purchases on the iPad app.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. Well, where can people find comics online for updates and to help spread the word about this new promotional service?
For the new promotional service, I haven't put out the material just yet because I want to do. I'm actually doing a table next week at a local con here in Sydney, and I want to do that print run first, and then I'll put out some more details around what the pilot program is, and like how will it work and things like that. But yeah, if anyone wants to know more about it, just contact me at contact@comix.one. That's CONTACD at comix.one, and I'll be in touch. I'll reply pretty quickly, usually.
Yeah, you do actually. But in like the social media, like people want to follow on social media, do you have any of that as well?
Absolutely. So on Twitter/X, we are comics_app. On Instagram, we are comics_app as well. On Blue Sky, we are comics.bluesky.social. Yeah, and Threads, we're comics_app as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, again, I want to thank Saurabh Bhatia. Am I pronouncing your name correctly when I say it?
Yes, my first name is correct, but that's
Okay,
that's that's good. Yeah.
okay. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but
Don't worry.
he is the founder and CEO of Comics. For joining us here today to promote his services to comic readers and creators alike. All of Comics' socials and website will be listed in this episode's details, as Saurabh just said, alongside pretty much everything else that he has said as well. For those who are interested. Again, I'm KS Garner, and you've been listening to the Solo Nerd Podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.